Haboim, welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Hey Amud Beis, starting with Daf Hey Amud Aleph, 2 lines from the bottom. The Gemara just spent the previous Amud discussing a machlokes between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chanina, whether that which is written by the Miluyim Misakev or not. That means to say that if that was not performed during the time of the inauguration, then it would be poisel, the avoida. Rabbi Yochanan is of the opinion that indeed that which is written is ma'akev. Ask the Gemara, my taima, what's the reason? The man da'omar kol hakosu ben ma'akev. What is the reason for Rabbi Yochanan, who says that what is written in the Miluyim would be ma'akev? And therefore, again, if it was not performed one of those days during the Miluyim, it would be poisel. Rabbi Yitzchak bar Bisna, the pasuk says, "Va'asisa la'aron ulebonov kacha ikuvahu." The fact that it adds the word kacha in this way is mashma. It has to be specifically done this way, and therefore, if it's not, it's ma'akiv. The Gemara asks, "Teinach kol milsa" on top of Hey Amud Beis. Diksiva b'hai inyana. That's very well that which is befavorishly, that which is explicitly written in the pasuk in regards to the tzivui of the miluyim. However, milsa d'loiksiv b'hai inyana minolan. But if it was only performed, it was recorded in the Torah as being performed, but not was commanded. How do we know that that's also ma'akev? Answers the Gemara, Amarav Nachman bar Yitzchok, Yolif Pesach. Pesach, we have a Gezerah Shava. Just like it's written Pesach, Oil Moed, in regards to the command of the procedures for the Miluyim, so too that which was performed in the Miluyim, that was also written Pesach, Oil Moed, we can make a Gezerah Shava. Rav Mashar Shomar, Rav Mashar says we don't have to come on to a Gezerah Shava, Pesach. Rather, Ushmartem es Mishmeres Hashem Ikuva. Regards to the performance of the Miluyim, it adds the words, and you shall guard the Mishmeres of Hashem, which is mashma, it's li'ikuva. Rav Ashi Omar, Rav Ashi says another reason why you don't need to come on to the Gezerah Shava, because it states, Ki kain tzuvesi, I've been commanded, so too I've been commanded. Ikuva, that is then going to be ma'akev, even though that's written again by the performance of the Miluyim. But the fact it says a reference to the command, that itself implies that that's going to then be ma'akev if it was not performed. Once we bring in these words, ki kain suvesi, as I've been commanded, that very words is found in another pasuk in regards to the 8th day of the Miluyim. The 8th day of the Miluyim states the same lashon. Tana Rabban, the Gemara brings a brisa, ki kain suvesi, as I've been commanded. It also states, in regards to the Miluyim of the 8th day, kasher tzivesi, as I had commanded. And it also states, in regards to the Miluyim, kasher tziva Hashem, like Hashem commanded. Now, to understand this Gemara, this brisa is speaking about the 8th day of the Miluyim. On the 8th day of the Miluyim, Nada va'avihu, Lahavdil, Nada va'avihu, the 2 sons of the 4 sons of Aaron HaKohen enter the Kodesh Kadoshim with the Ketares, and they were consumed. As a result, their father Aaron and the 2 leftover brothers, Elazar and Itamar, were now oinanim, the status of those who bereave the dead immediately of the 7th close relatives, whereby they're not able to then normally take part in the korbanos, in eating the korbanos. So the Gemara now quotes these verses that we had just mentioned. It states as follows: Ki kain suvesi, just I have been commanded. This is Moshe Rabbeinu telling Aaron and his children, Ba'aninus yochluha, you should go ahead and eat the mincha offering even though you are oinanim. Kasher tzivesi, here he states, like I was commanded. B'shas ma'aseh omar lehem, in the time that Moshe Rabbeinu burned the chatas offering that was brought in the Miluyim, thinking that it should not then be brought, it should not be consumed by an oinen. On that, Moshe Rabbeinu says, but he says the words kasher tzivesi, as I was as I was commanded. In other words, he's telling them, you shall eat the chatos also, even as oinanim. Aaron subsequently corrects Moshe Rabbeinu, says the chatos is different than the mincha offering, because the mincha is miyuchad for the miluim. It's a one-time mincha offering special for the miluim, and therefore there's an exception to the rule that oinim do not take part in the korban. By the mincha offering over here they will. But the chatos, that's a Rosh Chodesh chatos offering, which is performed every Rosh Chodesh, whereby here the oinin is not to be eating these chatos, and therefore he burnt it. So Moshe Rabbeinu agreed that he was correct, in fact, and he admitted his being mistaken. Then the third verse that's quoted over here, in regards to the shlomim offering that was brought in the miluim, here Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Kasher tziva." Here it says, "Kasher tziva Hashem." Just as Hashem commanded me to tell you in regards to the mincha offering that an oinen can shall eat it over here in the miluim, so too the oinen shall eat the shlomim offering, like Hashem commanded me. V'lo me'elai ani oimer, and I'm not saying it on my own, says Moshe Rabbeinu to Aharon. Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina, michnosayim ein kesuvim beparsha. In regards to the miluim, we don't find neither during the tzava or the asiyah, not in the command, not in the performance of the miluim, do we find the mentioning of the michnasayim, the beged of the kahuna. So where do we know? Ask the Gemara, if it's not written. Says the Gemara, kishehu oimer, when it's written, v'zeh hadover asher ta'aseh lahem, likadesh oisum lekain, and that fact that says that this is the matter that you shall perform to sanctify those who are now going to then do the avodah of the kahuna. So here it says the word vi zeh. It doesn't just say zeh. Vi is an and. It's a continuation of what it said before in the previous parsha. In the beginning of Titzav, it speaks about the big day kahuna. And therefore, lahavi ha-michnasayim va-asiris ha-efa includes both michnasayim as well as the asiris ha-efa, which is brought also in the miluim. Ask the Gemara, Bishlam michnasayim ksivei binyan de begodim. Very well, we can learn out that the michnasayim is included because that was the previous parsha, the big day kahuna. So when it says vizeh, it comes to include also this michnasayim. El asiris ha-efa minolan. Where do we know the asiris ha-efa that was not then explicitly written in regards to the miluim? Asya zeh. We have a gezerah shava of zeh. It says, Mizeh karben Aaron, karben Aaron ubonav asher yakrivu la Hashem asirus ha'efa. Here the pasuk, it talks about the asirus ha'efa. This is talking about a kohen who's a hedyot on the first day of his avodah, or the kohen gadol on his first day avodah, including the kohen gadol bringing every single day what's called chavitis minchas chavita. He's supposed to bring asiris ha'efa. So it says zeh in both places. Like Gezerah Shava. Rabbi Yochanan, Mishum Rabbi Shimon Yochai, Minayin Sha'af Mikra Parsha Ma'akev. Where do we know that even to read the Parshas Ma'akev, it says in the Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu, he gathered together Klal Yisrael in the beginning of the Miluim. And therefore, we deduce that he instructed them the performance of what's going to take place, the procedures of the miluim. Where do we know that has to be read as well? And if that was not read by Moshe Rabbeinu, it would be ma'akev. Talmud Lomer Vayomer Moshe ha'edo zeh hadovar asher tziva Hashem. This is the dovar that Hashem commanded. Afilu dibur ma'akev. This is the dovar, the word. Even the dibur, the word, will be ma'akev. Keitzal hi bishun. Asked the Gemara, how did Moshe Rabbeinu dress Aaron ubanov in terms of their Kohen big day kahuna? Asked the Gemara, Keisan Bishon, how did Moshe Rabbeinu, how did they dress them? My dahaba, whatever was. Why is it significant? Ela Keita Malbishon La'osi Lovu. Now, how will he then dress them in the future? Whatever he dressed them before, we'll need to know how, when the Beis HaMikdash will be rebuilt, the kahuna, when they will then be inaugurated, how will they be dressed in their big day kahuna? Says the Gemara, still it's not a kasha, because la'osi lavoy nami l'ksheyavo Aaron ubanov u'moshi mahem. Just as the kahuna, the Kohanim will then have to be inaugurated and be put on begadim, but it will be Moshe Rabbeinu who also then will be resurrected to also bring the Bigdei Kahuna and put it on Aaron Ubonov. Elo asked the Gemara, so what is the question? How do we explain the psukim that seem to be contradictory in regards to the order of putting on the clothes of the Bigdei Kahuna on the Kohanim? Pliga ba Rabbi Yirmiyahu of Rabbi Yochanan. It's a machlokes of Rabbi Yochanan. Chad amar Aaron uvachakar bonav. One says Aaron was completely clothed with his Bigdei Kahuna, and afterwards the bonav were then also clothed in that order. V'chad amar Aaron ubonav bebas achas. The other opinion says that they were clothed together. Gemara explains, Omar Abai, Biksoinis umitznefes kulyamoloi pligi de Aaron v'achak bonav. In regards to that which is the same garments of the Kohen Gadol and the Kohen Hedyoit, for example, the Ksoinis and the Mitznefes, everybody agrees that first Aaron was clothed, and then his children were given the vestments and were clothed. The bein betzavo ben ba'asiya Aaron kodim, because we find in the Torah in regards to the Miluim that Aaron was clothed first. Ki pligi, what is there a machlokes? However, in Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Chanina, that's a machlokes, and Rabbi Chia rather, that's a machlokes gabe the avneit. Man the Omar Aharon v'achakach bonov. One says it was Aaron who was then first put on all the vestments, and then his children. V'chsi vayachkor oisoi ba'avneit, v'hodar ksi vayachkor oisom avneit, that he was first put on the avneit, and then them. Umandomer Aaron ubono bebas achas. That means bebas achas, meaning to say that Aaron was clothed until the avneit, then they were clothed until the avneit, and then Aaron was clothed with his avneit, and then they were clothed with the avneit. The Chsiv says v'chagarta oisom, and you put the belt on them. The fact it was on them is mashma together with Aaron. Well, the Aaron ubono bebas achas, the one who says that they were put the belt together. Haksiv, what is he going to do with the other verse? Vayachkor oisoi be'avneit v'hodaksiv vayachkor oisom avneit. What is he going to do with the order of the verses? That it was vayachkor oisoi singular. Aaron was first put his belt, his sash, and then they were put their sash. How are you going to then reconcile that with this opinion that says they were put together? Vav and Aleph, at the very top, Omar Loch, he would say to you, Hahu avneito shel kohen gadol, loy zehu avneito shel kohen hedyot. It's not coming to tell me the order, because it was bebas achas. It's coming to tell me that it's the same avneit. I'm sorry, it's a different avneit. The kohen gadol's avneit is not the same avneit as the kohen hedyot. There's two different types of sashes, of belts. Ulamanda Omar Aaron v'chakar bonov, and the other opinion that says that first Aaron put all of his begadim on him, except for the avneit. Then they put all of the begadim on the kohanim bonov. Then they went back to Aaron and put out the avneit together with then the avneit of the bonov. Vaksi, but what does he do with the other verse? V'chagarto oisom avneit. It's mashma, and that he put the sash, belt, on all of them, mashma together. Omar Lach, he would say to you, Hahu kamashmalan, this is coming to teach me. Avneita shel kohen gadol zehu avneita shel kohen hedyot. This is coming to teach me that it's the same type of sash belt. That means to say that when it says v'charta osom ba'avneit, to emphasize it was that same avneit. Says the Gemara asking the following: Vayachkor oisoi avneit, vayachkor oisom lamali. Why would you need yachkor oisoi and yachkor oisom? Shma mina must be Aaron v'achakach bonov. It must be to teach me that in this order, first was Aaron and then bonov. Ubevas achas, asking mi mishkachas lo. Where do you find that kipshuto could be bebas achas? If you're going to say that they put a bebas achas kipshuto, it means that they put the avneit exactly the same time. How is that possible? Hechi mishkachas lo. Answers the Gemara, lo itzricha. It didn't mean that. It means, like we explained before, the akdim, that they preceded. Mean to say, bevas achas certainly meant that they put Aaron's and then theirs. But it means, as we said before, they first put all of Aaron's clothing on, with the exception of the avneit. Then they put the Bonov's clothing, with the exception of the avneit. Then they went back to Aaron and put his avneit, and then their avneit.